Ms. Tila. Today our title is Contemporary Issue in Management. And here's our question. Does emotional labor in service work promote gender occupation segregation? And I would like to introduce my group member. My name is Yifun, Hao Zhen, Yifan, Jumin, and Jinsi. Okay, service work accounts for over 80% of all employment, up from 60% in the late 1970s, according to Nielsen 2005. Besides, he also talked about since the late 1970s, women occur 2/3 of the 6 million service jobs. And service work require skills, disposition, and demands. The extremely heterogeneous nature of service sector employments make generalization on the nature of service work highly problematic, according to Suni 1987. Okay, Elfring 1989 established 4 subsectors of service employment. First is the producer service, which is primarily generate highly skilled white-collar work, and therefore this subsector is a key source of employment for men and women with high-level skills and educational qualifications, with the example of professional, financial, and insurance. Besides, social service is the largest service sector that categorized by the service provided are not sold openly but provided by the state. And the skill and educational requirements are high, although the sector generates both low and high skill occupations. Women dominate many low-level caring, nursing, and clerical occupations such as health and education. Distributive and personal service generate most of the low-skill entry-level service work. Distributive service include activities such as delivery service and personal service provide final consumption to household. And nearly 45% of male employment in distributive, with example of transport, retail, and so on. Personal service generate array of female-dominated, consumer-oriented, low-skill interactive servicing like bar, restaurant, hotel, and domestic service. Next will be Hao Zhen to talk about the IM.
Hi, my name is Hao Zhen. So now I'm going to talk about the gender occupational segregation. So this term is referred to the unequal distribution of men and women in the occupational structure. So based on Nixon 2009, he claimed that majority of the low-level occupations are dominated by women. So the factor that explain why this phenomenon happens, so the first factor is high level of customer contact. Men are not able to manage their emotion, and so when they dealing with customers, so lead them to reject the female-dominated service work. The second one is the nature of service encounter. The nature of service encounter that men are highlighted when articulating their dislike of interactive service work. The third one is the female-dominated service work carry threat to men's masculinity. The first one is reinforce and regenerate their masculinity is reduced because they cannot establish the homosocial relation. The second one is fear being feminized. They fear being feminized through their exposure to women. The third one is fear being stigmatized as effeminate. They fear the threat of being stigmatized as effeminate or gay. So I will pass to Fanny to continue the following slide.
My name is Yifan. Now I would like to talk about emotional labor. So according to Hochschild, emotional labor is defined as the management of emotion during direct contact with the service recipient, and here refer as the customer, or so-called during social interactions in the labor process. The relationship between the producer and customer of service takes many forms in the different forms of service context. And the next one is service worker communicate, articulate, and perform their emotional self through emotional labor, according to Duguay, 1996. So, because mostly the employee wants the service worker embodying their organization image, value, and reputations. And the next one is personal and cultural attributes being emphasized in the service work, according to Nixon 2011. Because the way workers present their embodied service is increasingly, and the idea that service worker embody the corporate image or brand. The next one is the ability to look good and sounds right, and being able to manage someone's emotion. This is according to Nixon. And the last one is service work does involve a lot of emotional labor, and women are constructed as having better emotional skill according to Nixon. And this is to promote the gender occupational segregation because most of the service work are female dominated jobs. Next, I would like to pass to Joanne.
My name is Joanne. I'm going to present the emotional labor in service work. The management of emotion as a dimension of work in the service industry. Emotional labor is a skill reserved for women's jobs, especially in managing interaction with others. According to Nixon 2009, men-dominated high-skill occupation and women-dominated low-skill occupation. So from this graph, we can see that men still tend to be employed in a higher skill job, and the female more likely to work in a middle skill occupation group, which is over here. And then the percentage of workers in each occupation group from April to June 2030. The highest occupation dominated by women are caring, which accounting for 82%. The next most common occupation were admin and secretarial role and service occupation, while the minority occupation dominated by women were skilled traded occupation, accounting for just 10%, followed by roles within manufacturing such as process, plant, and machine operative. These are generally dominated by men, which is the middle skill job and the higher skill job. So now I will pass to Jin Xiu to continue the presentation.
My name is Go Jin Xiu, and I would like to presenting the effect of emotional labors. Emotional labors as a double-edged sword according to Esper and Humphrey 1983. And they have two impacts of emotional labor, which are negative impact and positive impact. Negative impact is efforts to display positive emotions or suppress negative emotions, according to Scarborough and Jones 2000s, and it can and eventually causes estrangement from one's genes feelings, and therefore has determinate consequences for one's psychological well-being. And the positive effect divided into two, which are organizations and individual. Organization is regulating employees' emotional display in a highly scripted manner according to Ashford and Henry 1993. An individual is the positive aspect of emotional labors include financial rewards, increased satisfaction, security, and self-esteem. It will also can increase self-efficiency and psychological well-being according to Ashford and Humphrey 1993. And I would like to pass to Ko Yi-Fun for his personal experience.
Okay, next, I want to talk about my personal experience. During my holiday, I have been working as customer service at a telecommunication company. And this job can be considered as low-level skill distributive services. As I can see, the worker majority are women, and this job requires patience, attentiveness, good communication skill, soft spoke, and smile. And therefore, this might be the reason why women are more than men in the company. Okay, according to Lindsay and McQuarrie 2004, service employment are unattractive to unemployed, although they did not theorize masculinity as the key barrier. Next, I will pass to Hao Chen to talk about the personal experience.
So my name is Yo Hao Chen again. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I used to be a coffee sampling promoter. So this can categorize as distributive service work because it's a low-level occupation. So as a sampling promoter, we need to keep track the customer attention. So our attitude must be polite and having a good patience. So in addition, we require to smile in the entire working hour. So the third one is we've been told by our agent to control our emotion because sometimes I will meet some rude customer and we need to control our emotion in order to avoid conflict happen when dealing with demanding customer. So I will pass to Fanny to continue the following slide.
Now I want to talk about my personal experience that I observed the childcare occupations. Okay, so childcare occupation is a type of social service, and this means the key source of professional and associated professional employment for women. And it is a kind of middle skill level job. And I realized that female is highly dominated in this service work because they're good at taking care of children. Because the service work usually have more direct contact relationship with the customer, such as infant, kids, and youth. This level of customer may not easily to transfer their desired service to the service worker. Therefore, the workers must be good at manage their emotions and be patient. So I would like to pass to Joanne.
Based on my experience that I have observed in a flight attendants play an important role because they need to deal with hundreds of passengers in each flight. Dominated by women and categorized as middle-scale job, their duty is to serve beverage or meals, take care of passenger needs, deal with adult passengers as children. For example, the flight might be delayed and some of the passengers will be losing out their patience. So the flight attendants might hide feelings of anger from a rude or demanding customer and instead pass on a smile to ensure a smooth workplace interaction. So now I will pass to Jin Xiu to continue her personal experience.
Based on my experience, I used to work at Hush Puppies service jobs. My duties is to need to serve customers well, and my job is under middle level skills, and it belongs to distributive services. And I found that most of the female are hired because female need to be good in communications, patience, and good in observations. According to Nixon's 2009, it says women are much more likely than men to be engaged in work that involves social or people skills. And now we have our Q&A sections. I would like to invite my teammates to answer these questions. The first question is, how has your experience highlighted different gender expectations? Hao Zhen, what is your answer for these questions?
So based on my opinion, most of the supplier would like to hire female promoter. They are presentable, pretty, and delicate. They think that female can endear themselves to customer and increase the sales compared to men.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is our the questions 2. Question 2 is, what is the impact of the emotional labor you identify on employee? Yifun, what is your opinion about this?
According to my opinion, I think emotional labor increase perception of job stress, decrease satisfaction, and increase distress. The impact of emotional labor have uniformly negative effect on workers, net of work complexity, control, and demand.
Okay, thank you. And this is our last question. Question 3. Do you think gender occupational segregation is justifiable? Fanny, what is your question? What is your answer about this?
In my opinion, partly justified by the fact that women are still labor. More studies found that male workers justified gender segregation due to difference between gender physical abilities.
Okay, thank you. So as our conclusions, we feel that emotional labors in service work does promote gender occupational segregations. This is because many occupations require well-managed emotion within the service sector are certainly segregated by gender, such as masculinities and feminities will be selected for different occupations. And most of the employers will consider women as best suited to performance of emotional labors because women are acknowledged as more careful, understanding, and manage their emotion well. And this is our reference. That's all for our presentation, and thanks for your patience to watching our video.
Thank you.